Hello, this is Rebecca Straley, Go Straley Group, and I wanted to talk to you about purchasing a Washington, D.C. property that might have a contingency on it. And we have an addendum of clauses that gives us the legal language that we can rely upon, having been carefully prepared by GCAAR, Form 1332, reviewed by attorneys and produced by Zip Forms. So this is addendum of clauses A, and what we want to do is fill in the date, the name of the buyers, the name of the sellers, and the legal description of the property. This is important that you read to your client and make sure that they understand carefully that it is agreed that only the numbered paragraphs which are checked and initialed by all parties shall be a part of the contract. So that means if we check here and everybody initials, then this paragraph will apply. But if we don't do any checks here or as we go through, then these other items will not apply. So if it does apply, this means that you have to be very careful, as it instructs you here, that you check it and have all the parties initial here. And then because these paragraphs are so important that they have a whole addendum written for them, then please make sure that we complete all the spaces or the check boxes or the dollar amounts that they're asking for to protect our clients to the very highest degree. So let's say that we're going to use the seller's credit to the buyer, and it's asking for a dollar amount, and it's saying that the seller shall credit the buyer at the time of settlement with the sum of, say, $5,000. And so you write that number in here very clearly and legibly and check the box. Make sure that all the parties initial. Inspection contingency. This is, we're going to check it, have all the parties initial, and we're going to say how many days after the date of ratification. And this is why that date of ratification is so important, that that we have that on our original contract, on the body of our contract. So we're going to say maybe 10 on the 10th day after the date of ratification. And then we come down here and we get to have choices. And the buyer is either going to be able to negotiate, and we'll check that box, and or they'll have the right to cancel. And so you only want to check one of these two boxes. Additional as-is provisions, rate on inspection contingency, if that were to apply and your buyers wanted to do that, then we would say on the 10th day after the date of ratification to allow the buyer at the buyer's discretion and expense. So read your contract carefully so that you know not only what will be done, but then what the consequence or benefit, what the follow-up is. So here, there's two choices. It says A, we can deliver a notice and these things will happen, or B, notice declaring the contract void might be appropriate. Appraisal contingency, again, we're going to tie it to what day after the date of ratification. And every paragraph that we're looking at has the action that's going to be taken and then the follow-up and the methods of reacting to that information. Holding deposit check. Warning, this clause may not be used for Maryland transaction, but we're not doing Maryland transactions here. We're talking about DC. So we will say that the agent is to hold and not deposit until how many days after ratification. And this is very important because we want to make sure that the seller and buyer are on equal balance territory there, and they know exactly what to expect from each other as they have these obligations and responsibilities. If there's a private well and septic, check one or the other, either the buyer expense or the seller expense. Make sure to check over here and have all the initials. Post-settlement occupancy. So if the parties agree that the seller can stay, we have to know how many days he's going to stay, how much he's going to pay each day, and what the security deposit is that has been agreed upon. A licensee relationship disclosure. So the parties acknowledge, so the parties of the contract, that would be the buyers and sellers, acknowledge that somebody is a licensed real estate agent in what jurisdiction. So we put the party's name here. The buyer or the seller may be licensed, or maybe the real estate agent is related to the buyer or seller. So we put down where you are licensed, or where that party is licensed, and what company they're associated with, and then check they're either the buyer or the seller, or if they're related to one of the parties, then you have another piece of information that you have to add in here and fill in the blank, that they are the cousin or the aunt or a business partner or part owner in a larger entity. So make sure you complete the information correctly and everything that they ask. And that would complete your filling out of Addendum of Clauses A, GCAAR Form 1332. Make sure everybody signs, and the dates are so important. We want to provide very neat, complete, and accurate contracts for our clients so they can be very well defended. So thank you very much, and stay tuned. We'll talk about Addendum of Clauses B.